I'm back in the Land Rover once again. It's not actually just being moved to put it away. We're actually going to go, blah, I can't talk. Hello and welcome back to Automotive Tales. On today's episode, we are playing Porsches. I've just done a whole piece to camera and forgot to hit record, which is great. So back in the Land Rover, and not just to move it to put it away, I'm actually going to go and do a tip run in it, which is nice. I've got all my cars at home. The sun is sort of out. It's not raining is the most important thing. So I can actually do classic car things rather than just, you know, modern car things. Just taking the Fiat out for a quick run up the road to go and look at some of the cars and have a cup of tea and come back, which would have taken me all day to do previously. So that's great. I love it. It was totally worth spending £20,000 on a garage. Look, it's Joe. So today's job involves getting the wheels and tyres off the 944. So it has really good tyres on this, and it's actually got Box-ster wheels, these lovely little multi-spoke wheels. And you remember in a few videos ago, I gave away my old Porsche Boxster. So here she is, HEZ 9605, the Boxster. Okay, well, project putting air in the tyres went quite successfully. We have all 4 tyres inflated with my favourite type of Boxster wheel. I love these. These Pirellis are absolutely knackered because, well, they've started to perish and they've gone flat on the bottom. I have got another set of Boxster wheels for this, which I might give to the new owner because I quite like to keep these wheels. Right, so I need to fight through the cobwebs and take the handbrake off because some idiot left the handbrake on. That's a really bad idea. But yeah, it's nice to actually see it without a cover on for the first time in, well, 7, 8 years. Now she blows. Actually don't look too bad in the light of day, apart from the grass hanging out underneath. So the Boxster has found its new home. Joe, what do you think of your Boxster?
It needs a clean.
Indeed it does. Well, it had some questionable tyres. It needed 2 tyres to get it through its MOT. The 2 rear tyres were passable, but not great. And since then, Joe, who has the Porsche, has picked up a puncture. And so rather than him go and spend lots of money on new tyres, and then the good set of tyres sitting here doing nothing, it makes sense to put the Boxster wheels on this, onto the Boxster, and to put the original teledial wheels this should have back on the 944. So that is what we are going to do today. And then we maybe will go out and have a little play in a Boxster. And it's a slightly obscene hoonigan of a Boxster. You'll see why in a minute. So, fun fact about the 944, these wheel nuts are actually made of aluminium. So they are like super, super lightweight, which means you've also got to be really, really careful when you put them back on. Don't use the impact gun to put them on. It's fine to take them off because you will quickly strip those really, really quickly. But they weigh absolutely nothing, which is cool. Ah, voila. Wheels are off the 944. What's quite cool is you can see these are Boxster wheels because they're a significantly wider profile at the rear than the front, which the 944 didn't really need, but did make it sit quite nice. So these are the very early Boxster multi-spoke. The coolest thing about these is have these lovely metal centre caps, which, bearing in mind that the wheel studs or the wheel nuts are made of aluminium, this is like properly heavy duty. This is lovely. They look great on the Boxster. You could hear that from the other side of the village.
A few moments later.
Although everything on it rattles, like the door when you close it. So, these are the wheels that are coming off, and those are the wheels that are going on. Right, time to, you know, get up in the air and all that. So fun fact, in the toolkit for the Boxster is this little thing, which slides in here. So you take one wheel bolt out, slide this in, screw it in, and then you can undo all the other wheel bolts and the wheel will drop onto this, and you can slide it off, slide the new one on to locate it, slot it in, put your other wheel bolts in, take this back out again, and yeah, help you put the wheel on, which is quite nice. Because the 944 has got studs that stick out of the hub, so those help you locate it. On this, yeah, not so much, because it's got wheel bolts, or wheel nuts, whatever you should call them. Wheel bolts? Bolts. So yeah, so once you take them out, the whole thing is floppy and annoying. That's what she said. Right, there he goes. Best laid plans of my cement. There she blows. Actually looks relatively clean under there. Right, new wheel going on. I know it's Sunday, but I don't think you'll make the F1 team.
Give it a couple of duggers and it'll fix everything.
Exactly a minute. Not quite F1, but that's not bad. Always make sure when you're fitting the tyre, you check for rotation. Joe.
I'm just going to go backwards.
Reverse, yeah? Just reverse everywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, it sort of looks like a push me, pull me. It's got such a lovely burble at those lower ends. So it took him a minute to change the wheel. Now he's going to have to unchange the wheel. Another minute.
It might actually be an even bigger deal than that, because we're going to have to put the old one back on.
I know, because you got the one, it's on the other side.
Yeah,
right, 2 seconds. So, that's what happens when you leave tyres for a long time. So this has happened while it's been driven the last few miles. So they looked okay after it come out of storage, but yeah, not ideal, and this was already done. I'm going to claim by the previous owner to me, so this wasn't me or Joe that did this, but yeah, that's not looking great. And then picked up a nice tyre finder, which meant it wasn't holding pressure. So now on close inspection, you can see how bad these tyres were. So these ones, which were kicking around, not doing anything, loads of tread, no perishing on the sidewalls. They're not the newest tyres, but they've been stored indoors, so they've had no UV for the last year or two, so they should be okay. Certainly is a cheap fix to the bargain Boxster. What do you call it, Joe?
Box-ster.
A Boxster. And it is a bargain Boxster, because how much it cost you?
Absolutely nothing. Well,
there's a lie. Cost you...
for 1,500 quid now.
Well, yeah, it also cost you £1 of cider at the pub.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. The free Boxster. So what is the deal with this Boxster? Well, I bought this car 7 years ago for the 2017 running of 24 Hours of Le Mans as, well, a bit of fun really. I thought, what is the cheapest 6-cylinder Porsche I can buy and drive all the way to France to watch Porsche race at Circuit de la Sarthe? So I paid the pricey sum of £2,750 for this car, but there was a reason it was cheap, and it was riddled with problems. This particular Boxster has actually been written off twice in its previous life. It was a Cat C and a Cat D write-off, I believe, but it was a 6-cylinder Porsche and it technically had an MOT and it ran. So we drove it all the way to France. We broke down a few times, but the all important thing is we made it back in one piece, and so we decided to keep the car and try and fix some of the many issues. So in trying to resolve the many breakdown issues, we eventually concluded that maybe there was a problem with a blocked catalytic converter. So we decided to take the exhausts off. I sourced a completely new exhaust system, a cheap Chinese one on eBay, which was basically a silencer-free exhaust, and proceeded to snap 11 of the 12 exhaust studs. So the car was going to effectively be parted out at this point, until a place called DW Performance over in Peterborough stepped in and said, no, don't scrap the car. You can drill the exhaust studs out in position with the right jig, which is something they happen to have. Apparently this is a common problem with Boxsters. So they drilled out all 11 of the knackered studs and fitted new exhaust studs and put on this very obscene exhaust for me to drive back to France in 2018. I then realised this was a very, very bad idea because I got little further than the start of the motorway to realise I was going to be deaf by the time I got there. Following the race, the car got mothballed for a little while. I got it out for an MOT. It did go through an MOT, believe it or not. Make of that what you will. But it broke down on the way home. So it turned out the alternator had stopped functioning. So while it had gone flat on the MOT testers when they tried to start it the following morning, they put a jump pack on it, got it through this MOT, but as soon as you added any revs, the car was conking out, which basically means the charge regulator had failed. It was over-supplying voltage to the system and cutting the car out. Basically, the ECU was fragging out at like 16 volts. So the car got mothballed until the video you saw a couple of weeks ago, me unburying it from a pile of overgrowth at the corner of my yard at HQ 1.0, which is where I decided that the effort to fix it, given at that point it needed 4 new tyres, the alternator was definitely a problem, and there was probably various other issues with it. I believe the cheap Chinese exhaust may well have cracked already, and so I decided, rather than invest a load of money in it, to end up with a car that is almost undrivable because it's so noisy, I'd give it to somebody who enjoys being a hooligan.
I always want to try and time it just right, so I can crack.
So, coming back to today, Joe agreed to let me have a drive of my old car after we'd fitted the new tyres, so it was at least safe, and that's where we are right now. So if anybody thinks I'm being a hooligan, I can reassure you this sounds an awful lot faster than it actually is, thanks to that, well, straight through exhaust. But it is a lot of fun either way.
Feel like it's from the front or the rear?
Okay.
Does it feel like it's from the rear?
No, front, I think.
Probably is a balance then.
Yeah, rear feels pretty planted actually.
There's a Porsche that I want to replace in the rear, so I'm going to do both of the rear dropout bushes. Swing out.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
See that every day. Got them weird red lights on it. That was brave.
Huh?
That was brave. How much power out of a roundabout?
Yeah, it's alright. These tyres are good, they've plenty of grip on them. Right, if I pull in here, we do a hot swap,
Yeah.
I'm going to put the 360 up.